Hi everyone, this is Ligita. Welcome to Dart and Flutter series. In this video, let's talk about operators. Operators are the symbols that help us to do some simple calculations of math or some logical things in the app. So, few of them are arithmetical operators, logical operators, assignment operators, ternary operators, cascade operators, and typecast operators. Okay, first let's talk about arithmetic operators. These are like basic simple operation that we do on the math. So simple math operations like plus, minus, division, multiplication, or modulus. All these were the simple math operation that we perform. So if I quickly give you example of that is, uh, let's create a variable called number 1, which will assign it to 2, number 2, and let's have another variable called number 2, which will be assigned to some 52 something. Okay, now when we want to add a two numbers, when we want to add a two numbers or the variable that stores the numbers, we can simply use the arithmetical operators plus operators like number 1, and we can use the arithmetical operator plus, and we can again write the second variable, and if we end the statement with the semicolon, and when I run the program, so what happens, the addition of the two numbers will be displayed here. So we are using arithmetical operator for either adding two numbers or subtracting two numbers, or it could be dividing two numbers or multiplying two numbers. So these are the basic operators were all used, it's been used in between. It is called arithmetical operators. Okay, the next operator is logical operators. Logical operators help us help the code to make some decisions. Like it depends upon the logic. One of the example could be, and what are the logical operators are? Logical operators could be AND operator, or it could be OR operator, and it also the NOT operator. These are the logical operators. So the situation when we use this are, see, when you want to use an AND operators, is always the two condition or the two statements, the both the statements should be true, should be true. This when we want both statements should be true or the both condition should be true, we use the AND operator. For example, let's take a variable called age, and let's assign it to the number 18, and let's write a condition, and let's also define one more variable called boolean, is as a id, and let's make it as true. Okay, so now let's write a condition called if age is greater than equals to 18, and as a id, then we want to write a statement where it have to print pass, or else let's return the statement called print a statement called fail. So what we are doing, so we are just writing a condition where age of that person should be greater than 18, and he must have some id could be id proof of his identity. So if that both should be true, and if the both should be true, if it is true, we want to pass print a statement called pass or else fail. So when I am using an logical operator AND, which states that the both statement, the both variable or the both condition what's there should be truth. Only If both is true, it will pass, or it will print a statement called pass. If I run this program, if you could see, the age is 18, which is less than equals to S. Yes, it is true. It obeys this, it becomes true. And assay ID, yes, it's assay ID. So when both are true, it prints an statement pass. Let's imagine, make this as 15 and try to run the program. Then we have to get an output called fail, because see, assay ID true, yeah, it assay ID, but age is which is 2 less, it's not greater than age is 2 less, which is results in the false. So if either one of the false, it couldn't able to I mean send the I mean print the statement pass, because the both condition should be true. Okay, the next operator is OR operators. So let's just replace this with the OR operators. So OR operators, in the OR operators, either one of the condition should be true. It is not compulsory that both should be true. When you are using OR operators, any one of the statement can be true. Then it passes the results. So if I run this, then we get a output called pass, because even if it is the one condition is not false, it's false, the other condition is true. So either one condition is true, it will just pass the output. Okay, the next is not operators. Not operators is just like the opposite of the operators. Like if I say if I just write, if he doesn't ask the ID, then just print a statement called does not have ID, or else can say as ID. So first understand what they are saying. So always you remember, when you write as ID, the variable, by default it is true. Okay, I mean if you pass any boolean, and if it is in the if condition, it always take it as true. Okay, if it is true, it will pass the or print this statement. If it is false, it will print this statement. When you include not in this, which means that the reverse of it, if it is true, it becomes false. Okay, if I run the program, as the if you see, as true here is true, right? If it is not true, what it becomes as ID. It will print this, which means, see, the the opposite, what if it is not as ID, which becomes false. If it is false, it will render or print this statement. If it's only true, it's print this. Example, if I just change it to the false, and if I run the program, which have to print this statement, does not have a ID. So I'll repeat it again. When it comes to not statement, always remember, it just reverse the boolean value. If it is false, not false is nothing but true. Not false is nothing but true. I think you're clear. If it is true, then the statement will be printed. If it is false, the statement will be not printed. Okay, let's talk about the next operator, that is called assignment operator. Assignment operators is most commonly used and also known operators. If I just write int age equals to 20, what I'm doing, I'm just assigning this variable to some kind of value. This is an assignment operator. So assignment operator is nothing but equals. We are basically assigning some value to the variable. Okay, and also we have another assignment operator, that's like plus or equals to, or minus or equals to. This also one kind of assignment operators. So it's like a short form of I'll give you example. Let's take, if you have a number, a which has a variable a which has a number of 5. So let's say if you want to rename it or reassign the value a to a plus 5. and if I try to print this, if I try to print a value, what will be the output? If the number first initial value is 5 and 5 plus 5 you are reassigning it, then the output will be 10, right? The output will be usually 10. So instead of repeating a multiple times, we can just write a plus equals to 5. What we are doing, we are adding 5 and also redefining the value to added number. So now if I run, what will be the output? It will be 10 only. So it's like a short form of, instead of us writing a equals to a plus 5, instead of writing this, the short form is we can just write a plus equals to 5. So I think it is clear to at this point. So assignment operator, and we also have another another assignment called aware null aware assignment operator. So what is this null aware assignment operator is? So this is nothing but something like this. You write it is nothing but double question mark with single equals to. So what is this? It's nothing but it usually assign the value to the variable. So it will assign the value to variable only if that variable is currently null. So let's say some variable is null. Let's take an example. Let's write a variable called username. Let's say this variable is null. How do I write this as a null? If I just write a question mark here which says this variable is null, and if you want to assign this variable, I can just simply write username question mark equals to guest. So what we are doing is if there is a value, if the username is already present, we'll just print the username, or else we can redefine it or we can assign the value to it. Usually the best real-time example for this is, imagine you're working on the app where if username is available, the name of the user is already available, you'll enter that name. If there is no username is given, as a default or a backup, we can just give or reassign the username to guest. So this is the one of the real use case for the null aware operator or the assignment operator. Okay, let's talk about the next operator, that is ternary operators. Ternary operator is it's like a shortcut for the if or else statement. So if is been represented by the question mark and else is represented by the colon. So it's just a shortcut for the if or else statement. So how can we write the ternary operators? Usually it starts with the parenthesis which must contain the condition, and if this condition is true, what we'll do, will return if the value is true, will return the value true or return something. It could be UI or it could be some condition or statement, or else we will return the value which is false. I think you are clear with this, right? I'll give you example and I'll show you. Let's take an example of a number. Let's create a variable called a, which stores a number 18 or something and will render based on the 18. Let's say if the a, let's take it as age, not a. If the age is greater than equals to 18, what we'll do, we'll print a statement called pass. Okay, let's print a statement called pass. Else let's print a statement called fail, and let's end the statement with the semicolon. Let's run the program. So what happens here is, so the variable age is 18 and it is less. When the condition comes, if the age is less than equals to 18, yes, it's true. Since it's a true, it renders the statement pass. If it is 15, if I change this to 15, and if I run the program, the output should be fail. So you guys already know if or else conditions. So if you usually this ternary operators are used because when we want to render the UI based on the conditions, so in that condition, in that situation, we usually use the ternary operator most the time. And if you want to render a simple statement, curly braces are not necessary also. Okay, the next operator that we're going to discuss is typecast operators. So this typecast operators is either for checking or for converting the type. So either you're checking the type or converting the type. So either in between one you're doing it. It's like you're typecasting, you're changing, nor you're converting the, you're checking the types. So for example, if you want to check the type of some variable, let's take an example of string of name, which is Sarah. So let's think in the situation where you don't know what is the type of the name. So I can just write print name is, are you checking the, you're checking is this a string, you're checking is the name Sarah is a string. So if I run the program, so if it is a string, the output will be true, or else the output will be false. So I got a true, which means the name is, the name data type will be Sarah. So you have checked the, you have checked the type. You want to convert a type from a int to string or string to int, whatever. So during converting something, we use a keyword called as. So for checking any type, we have used is, right, same way. You want to convert something like converting a number from int to string, and if we can check it, if the number is string, the output we get is true. So this is how we check and we convert the what we typecast it. Okay, basically typecasts of two, either you're converting or you're checking. Okay, the last operator that we are discussing is cascade operator. So the cascade operators is help us to perform the multiple actions on the same object without rewriting the name again and again. So it is usually mainly used using like in the object. Okay, so if you already learned C language and all, so what is object? It's just an instance of the classes. So if you are not aware about classes object, no worries, we'll learn in the next classes. But for now, just know there's something called class. We usually write it by giving a keyword called class, and let's name it something like user. And usually the class will have two things, one is property and a method and a default constructors. So let's write properties are nothing but a variables. So we'll just have the int called age, and also a string called username, and let the both be null for now. To write the null, we could just write a question mark before here, question mark, sorry, it's right next to the data type, question mark, and I can just write question mark, which says that the variable is for now null, which is not defined. And let's write a method called greet. Write a method called greet, and let's print a statement called hi. So what we did, we have just created a class and a class name called user, and which has a two properties and one method. If you are not aware about classes, don't worry, just listen what it is. In the next videos you'll learn in details. Just for understanding the concept of cascade, I am bringing this concept, that's all. So usually how do you create an object is nothing but an instance of this classes. I'll just write a var user equals to, and we call the constructor user. Okay, so let's imagine I want to give a age and a username. What I can just use, since it's an object, usually how the object will be accessed, using a dot notation. I can write user dot age, which is equal to, let's give an age for a user like 20, and let's give a user the name called Alex. So we have defined the name, I mean username and age of the user. So let's try to print it. Print the user dot age, and let's print the user dot username. When I run this program, the user age will be 20 and user name will be Alex. So this is how you, when you create an object, this is how you assign the value to the variable, and this is how you call it, right? So what is cascade is, instead of me saying every time user dot user repeating the same word, I can just use two dots, and I can just define it the same way. I can define the variable, I can give the variable in the same words. So I'll repeat the definition. It helps us to perform the multiple action on the same object. So what is the object? User is this object. On the same object you are performing the multiple actions without even writing its name again and again. You are using only two dots, that is called cascade, and you are writing it without repeating the names. This is what the cascade, this is what the difference between the normal object accessing and using the cascade. So that's all for today's videos. In next video, let's learn about a function and a list.